Speaking of matches we've seen a ton of times, but I wouldn't mind if we got it again. Profits and Usos, undisputed WWE Tag Team title match from Money in the Bank. This was fantastic. And listen, I was looking forward to it because that go-home segment on SmackDown I thought was really good. The whole Ask Them Anything thing was kind of dumb, but the segment itself with the mic work from both men I thought was great. And the build was what it was. You had the singles matches on Raw every week, and they were good matches, but, it's booking 101 from this company. We've seen the match a ton of times. I didn't think the Profits were going to win. I wouldn't have had the Profits win. But these guys go in there, and specifically, the Profits don't get enough credit for being as good as they are, first of all. Second of all, the Usos have a track record at this show specifically of having fucking killer matches. Money in the Bank 2013 had that show stealer on the pre-show with The Shield. 2014, you were there for that one. They had that match with Rowan and Harper, I think, on the main show. Fantastic match. And the list goes on and on from over there. They had that great match with the Mysterios last year where they became the SmackDown Tag Team Champions to begin with. They beat Bryan and Rowan on the pre-show a couple years ago in a quality match. So the Usos are synonymous with this pay-per-view. They delivered once again the best match on the entire show, in my opinion. I know you would agree as well. One of the better matches all year from this company, and it was a tag team match, which they normally don't really give a shit about, but when you give the time to the talent, they go in there and they kill it. So despite the predictable outcome, and they kind of had me hooked on a few different points thinking the Profits might win, this was really, really, really good. And I think intentional fluky finish with Montez's shoulder being up sets the stage nicely for a rematch, which I am not at all opposed to if this match was any indication.
Yeah, this was an amazing match. I like you said, I was there. What was it, 2015 Money in the Bank or 2014?
2014, yeah.
2014 against Harper and Rowan. It was a great match with the Usos. I just think I feel like they have great matches with everyone. I feel like they really haven't had, maybe like the Viking Raiders have had some man matches with them, but I thought this was a great match. Definitely match of the night. Had you at the edge of your seat, honestly, by the end of the match. And even it was one of those matches, like, my dad usually doesn't say much, but after the match, he's like, wow, that was a really good match. So, I thought it was good. But you said that, I don't know, I feel like the whole, indecisive finish, it seemed just completely random. At first, no one saw it until they went to the replay. So, if that's the way they're going to do it, I guess I'm fine with it, but it was kind of just, out of nowhere. I don't know. It just, they were like, oh, yeah, they won. I didn't see it in live. I was watching, and then all of a sudden, oh, his shoulder was up. But if we're going to run it back, I'm definitely down to do it again.
Well, it might have been a botch, because like you said, in the moment, it wasn't apparent until, well after the match. It wasn't until a couple minutes later they realized what happened when they showed the replay, and then they kind of zoomed in on it. And the Usos weren't on Raw. They did acknowledge the finish, and they brought that up again, so I hope we get a rematch out of it. I don't know. They very well may just move on from it. But, they don't really have much of a choice but to not move on yet, because who else do you put with the Usos? The Usos have beaten every other team in this company, from the Raiders to the New Day, which I do not want to see again. They knocked out the Profits. They've beaten the Mysterios. What more do you think they can do with the Profit, or not with the Profits, but rather the Usos as champions? Is there any one team on any roster, and there's not a whole lot of them, that you think stands a chance of knocking off the Usos for those tag team titles, unless it's, as we mentioned before, a Sami Zayn or a Kevin Owens sort of team? Beyond that, I don't really have any ideas.
Yeah, at this point, they've beaten everyone. I think what you just said, losing to Sammy and Kevin would probably be the best chance. The way that the story's telling right now, they'd probably be the only ones that would make sense.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't, I can't think of any other teams, and what, like you said, with Sammy and the story they're telling there, that's kind of just what I want to see. And it's not even like you can call up any NXT teams either. There's no, this was 3-4 years ago. Oh, them against the Undisputed Era would be great. What team? Pretty deadly? Mace and Mansoor? There's no teams aside from Los Lotharios, who are barely on the show. I don't know, man. It's very weird, but it was a great match, though. What sort of stock are you putting into the whole Montez Ford rumors right now that he could be pushed as a single star soon? And to that, I say I would just keep him with Dawkins, not break them up. I feel like that's such a tired trope. You don't need to do that. Just have Montez Ford start doing single stuff while still with Angelo, and give him a shot and see how it is, because it won't hurt, right? They need the star, so why not at least try? The guy looks like a star, on his own right now.
Yeah, his physique, he's definitely gained at least 20, 30 pounds of muscle. He looks like he's ready for a singles run. I wouldn't break them up. I think I hate when they do that because I feel like if they broke them up, Dawkins might as well get his bags back, and he's the next budget cut, unfortunately.
He's the next Tucker, yeah.
He's the next Tucker. Like, he's just the tag team guy, and if anything, they just repack. If, like, they broke him off and Montez went on his own, they'd probably just stick Dawkins with someone else, honestly, if they wanted to keep him. So,
yeah, Montez Ford singles push, you think?
Easily.
Yeah, I don't know when I would do it. I don't know if I would do it soon or do it after the rematch, or there's not much more they can do as champions or, as a tag team, so unless they were to get the belts back. But I don't know. It's weird. I'm not really sure what they'll do, but I certainly would not be opposed to it. Because, again, Montez Ford, like you said, looking like an absolute star right now with the build, and I just think him and Bianca at some point as a pairing, as a heel pairing, especially down the road, and I said it to you, a week ago? I don't even know if I said it to you or I was just thinking it, but him as Money in the Bank, Mr. Money in the Bank a year from now, I mean, it just writes itself. But I would certainly push him on his own before then, not break up the team. Dawkins is done, and Dawkins deserves better. I thought Dawkins really went in there on Monday and on Saturday on Raw and Money in the Bank and had a great showing in his own right. I think he should not be overlooked as well. But he would be if they were to be broken up, so hopefully that won't be the case.